Are Game Pass classes worth it in Roblox Critical Strike? Well, today we're going to find out. Let's get right into it. Hello, and welcome. Today, we're going to find out whether or not you should spend your time and your Robux on Game Pass classes and Roblox Critical Strike. Now, unlike my other videos where I go over each class, I won't be doing that here, since that would take a lot of time. Instead, I'll be going over 5 of the best and the worst Game Pass classes so that we can cut down on video runtime while still giving you a pretty good idea of the Game Pass classes. So, with that out of the way, let's take a look at the 5 Game Pass classes that we'll be going over today. Reaper, Ghost, Rocketeer, Valkyrie, and Mushroom. I have chosen these 5 classes not only because I own them already, but because they give us a pretty good balance between good and bad when it comes to Game Pass classes, so that we'll be able to easily tell whether or not Game Pass classes are actually worth it. So let's start with the Reaper. Now, the Reaper class is honestly a bit overpowered. It's able to lock onto an opponent and fly over to them, dealing massive damage, but it is also able to go invincible for a moment, meaning that some attacks can be completely negated, which really hurts classes with high cooldowns. Reaper also has pretty good mobility, but one huge weakness is that the death mark is pretty hard to hit, since it has a teeny tiny hitbox. So yeah, Reaper is pretty good as long as you have some pretty good skill and even better aim. Moving on to our next class, we've got the Ghost. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys here, I don't really like the Ghost since the marking ability is even harder to hit than Reaper's death mark. It's like Priest Beam, where the hitbox is toward one side or the other of the visible beam, which I think is pretty stupid and definitely needs to get fixed. However, in the hands of someone who has terrific aim, the Ghost is an absolute nightmare to fight. It has high mobility, possible high damage, and a very fast LMB. So while Ghost takes more skill than some classes, it's pretty rewarding once you get good with it. So now let's move on to the third class on this list, and my favorite class in the game, Rocketeer. Now, the Rocketeer takes a ton of skill to be useful. The LMB is very difficult to hit and very easy to dodge since it's pretty slow. But when it does hit, it does 15 massive damage and a bit of knockback. The dash takes a moment to charge up, leaving the Rocketeer vulnerable for a moment, but the dash can light oil on fire or do up to 20 damage to an opponent. Also, Rocketeer's F move allows it to air stall and to inflict a ton of burn on your opponent if they have the oil status effect. So, just like Ghost, Rocketeer requires a bit of skill, but it rewards you when used properly. And now let's move on to what is definitely the worst class on this list, the Valkyrie. Now, I'm not saying that the Valkyrie is the worst class in the game, because it's not, but it's definitely not very good, especially when compared to other Game Pass classes. But don't get me wrong, when played properly, the Valkyrie actually can compete against quite a few classes thanks to a large stun possibility, a high damage LMB, the ability to air stall just like Rocketeer, and Valkyrie can deploy a shielding orb around itself that negates 100% of damage taken and reflects 50% of that damage right back to your opponent using a fairly small AoE shockwave attack. And while all of this sounds so crazy and cool, the Valkyrie actually has really high cooldowns and fairly low health, especially considering that it is a tank class. So while that means Valkyrie is pretty balanced, it just gets weakened to the point that it's basically useless. But now, let's move on to the final class on this list, the Mushroom. This class is one of the most annoying in the game. It's able to give you several stacks of the toxic status effect, it can put you to sleep for a very long time, and it can heal itself or do huge damage to you all in the span of a little bit of time. It's honestly quite OP. However, if you can get access to the Mushroom itself, it becomes a bit of a weak class, since it can't directly defend itself from a powerful opponent without getting a few stacks of toxic first. But yeah, Mushroom's pretty powerful, if quite annoying. Anyways, now that we have gone over a pretty nice selection of the Game Pass classes, it's time to determine whether or not you should spend your time or your Robux on these classes. To help, I had a few friends over on Discord help me out by doing a poll, and 3/4 of them thought that Game Pass classes were worth it. And honestly, I can agree. While not every Game Pass class is actually worth using, such as Valkyrie and Elementalist, the majority of Gamepass classes are worth using. A common theme of great damage, great mobility, and overall being annoying? Gamepass classes are definitely worth checking out. If you don't have the Robux to purchase them, there's always the renting system to help you out. Anyways, that's the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like it, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Don't forget to use code Shotis at redragonshop.com for 5% off your next order. Have a great day. Bye bye.